Good morning, driven here. It's adventure time. And we're starting a new adventure. This one is Lamplight City. This was very kindly given to me by Volker of Heidelberg. Sorry, Application Systems Heidelberg. Very kindly given quite a few adventures. All of which I have enjoyed so far. So this came out in 2018. I think it was highlighted in the Adventure Week on Steam. Spotted it. So, 2018, very positive. It's a steampunk-ish detective adventure from the creator of Golden Week and Shardlight. Can private investigator Miles Fordham find justice for his clients and track down his partner's killer before his world comes up. So, up. Just swap screens here. Streamlabs to pick it up, hopefully. Go. We'll see which side my camera is better at once we're in. I have to rush off quickly. I'll be back very fast because I'm just keeping an eye on our kittens out in the garden. Cameras here. One cat that's been chasing them, the rest are fine. Start new game. We're gonna get an option what to say. Bill will wake up. The card is on fire, so he knows them, does he?
Rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Sorry I couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Hell, maybe Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
Afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
I just moved my mic in a bit. That's okay. Captain Shelling is going to notice one of the snelling, sorry, not shelling. You sleep through the briefings?
You sleep through the briefings?
Sure, it's really not that difficult. Snelling's monotonous drone works better than Cold Tits' emulsified soporific.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hambrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
You seem awfully certain of that.
I am. In fact, I'd bet the devil my head that we're done within the hour.
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager.
Hopefully volume levels are okay.
Ah, we've arrived. After you, Bill.
City of New Britain, borough of Mondeley? An airship.
Thank you. Keep the change.
CQ stands for.
And so, our night of excitement begins.
You more than anyone else should know that there's rarely a dull night in Chumley.
I have a feeling tonight will be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Keep your mind on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Left click to interact with objects. The mouse cursor is context. Look at the window. To lower the sound level. Beacon's too low, you can maybe let. Oh. Yep.
Looks like they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business in this part of town has.
What's he doing walking by? Raving man.
He's just pacing back and forth, muttering to himself.
Probably one of the patients from Riverview. Seems like there's more of them on the streets than in the asylum these days.
Homeless family.
An all too common sight in this part of town.
Sad to say, it hasn't really changed much since I was a boy.
Glad this thing is lit. This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
Don't worry, Miles. I've got your back. Fordham, what are you doing?
I was gonna check inside this trash can for clues.
Miles, in the 15 years we've been partners, how many times have you found something inside a trash can that wasn't garbage?
Fair point.
Hello, you're back in. Is it too cold? Team Baron? There's Luna back in. Right,
That
sign.
reminds me. I should pick up a bouquet for Addie when we're done here.
Seems like you've been spending more time with me than with her lately. I sure hope she's not the jealous type.
I don't know where he went. And like being out by herself, and when she loses bar and she comes running back in.
I thought we were here to investigate a burglary, not stand around taking in the ambience.
But you're back in. Baron. I think that was Baron coming in. Right. So we can speak to teacher. Sure. So this is you.
Bill, could I have a word?
What's on your mind, Fordham?
A burglary at a flower shop. Not the most thrilling case we've had, is it?
If I didn't know any better, I'd say Snelling's been giving us the boring cases lately on purpose.
Why would he do something like that?
He's eyeing a promotion to chief of police. He'd sell his own mother's cane if he thought it would help. Plus, it's no secret he doesn't like us.
I can't understand why. I've shown him nothing but respect.
It's because you're too good at what you do. And because you're friends with me.
What's that got to do with anything?
Not everyone is as open-minded as you, Miles. Let's just leave it at that.
You ever miss living out here, Bill?
About as much as you missed stepping in that pile of horseshit last week.
I was distracted by that story you were telling me about your sister. How's she doing out west, anyway?
Well, she's not in the chum, so fantastic. Living here was about as fun as wearing a vest made of meat to a dogfight. I'm glad we both managed to get out. Oh, and by the way, Miles, you didn't do such a great job of cleaning your shoes.
That would explain all the funny looks I've been getting. Still feeling rough, Bill?
Yes, but I'll feel better once this case is finished and we can go down to the Angel for a pint or four.
Hair of the dog?
No better medicine.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
Okay, let's head on in.
Come on, Bill.
Charming little place, isn't it?
Charming, but empty. We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies? Hardly.
Plants hanging on hooks. A nice space-saving method.
I'd probably bang my head against them constantly if I had them in my apartment.
These prices are pretty reasonable. The place I go in Worcester's clearly robbing me blind.
If you think those are bad, don't go near the flower shops in Lyon.
These seem to be part of the watering system for the flowers.
I haven't seen old piping like this in a while. Seems like someone's reluctant to upgrade.
This is quite the selection. Come over here and take a whiff, Bill.
Sure, if you don't mind me getting snot all over your coat.
Oh, no, not the Myers case all over again. On second thought, you can just stay over there. Not too many left. Seems business isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only three certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
Change in height as he walks. Oh, yes. Graphics are okay there. I like the odd little touch, lighting effects.
The staircase isn't very well lit.
I'll go first. That way you can catch me if I fall.
We should probably ask for permission before heading up there.
Let's ring the bell.
Mostly a bunch of fertilizer and growth tonics.
Growth tonics, eh?
Plant growth tonics, Bill.
Of course. I knew that.
Be right there. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half-price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today. Or perhaps a custom bouquet for the special ladies in your lives?
I have no need myself, but maybe Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles? Those peonies in the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I'm Cecilia Handbook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time, either.
It was made anonymously, but are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
I don't like it.
It's happened 3 times. But considering the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here, I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
Well, we're here now, and we'll do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Handbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Very well, Detective.
Okay.
Could you give me the details concerning the burglaries?
About 3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen. Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it happened again. But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies. Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies
Not really
were
a
missing,
burglary.
and there was payment for 1 order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours,
Well,
taking
apart
the
from the
lilies,
breaking in.
and leaving money behind.
How unusual.
Casebook updated. Clue added. What? Just people.
Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character. And if you've noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood. If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the 2 men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
Have you found any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
We'll have to talk to
Are there
Trevor.
any other points of access to the building?
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
It won't take but a moment.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too long.
Have added.
So this burglar has been paying for the stolen goods?
That would appear to be the case, yes. I really don't think this could even be considered a crime. That's one of the reasons I didn't bother reporting it to the police.
And the other reasons?
Oh, I think I've already made those quite clear, Detective.
She doesn't think we'd do anything.
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died. You're not suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now. He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
Good. We'll meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Not really.
Have you been in business long?
Yes, I opened this shop 30 years ago, along with my late husband, David. But the past 10 years, I've been running things on my own.
Don't you feel unsafe being here by yourself so late into the night?
Detective, when you've lived in this part of town as long as I have, it takes quite a lot to scare you.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Access Casebook at the top of the screen or right click. Burglaries with burglar return, or is this investigation formality? We need to find a point of entry upstairs, wait for Trevor Hastings to speak to him.
Interesting choice of decor in here.
Perhaps it wasn't always used as a storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
Where's the draft coming from? Right, we have got a painting.
Pastoral landscape. Definitely nowhere near here.
I've never much understood art, but it would be nice to see a place like that in person.
I just thought I heard my cats.
Thinking about life's great mysteries again, are you?
Heater?
I would imagine that keeping a consistent temperature in here is important for the flowers.
When do you suppose this contraption was last serviced?
Hard to say. Definitely not recently, if the dust buildup is any indication.
Got a window. Fire escape, right.
This provides a means of escape from the top floor, or access to this window from the ground. The window latch, securely locked. Interesting. There's a gap between the window and the frame here. No wonder it's so drafty in this room. I wonder.
What are you thinking, Fordham?
That it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however.
They could get
long and
open that
thin
up.
should do the trick.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that around here.
Clues added. Find something to pull that up from outside, couldn't you? Find a long thin tool. Okay. Buildings.
Lamplight City, in all her glory.
Gaslight.
A rather distinguished-looking gentleman.
Reminds me of Captain Snelling, if he ever smiled.
They really don't like him, do they?
A young lady. Perhaps a relation of Mrs. Hanbrook?
I can see the resemblance. Sort of.
Where's this?
I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though. And judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Hanbrook isn't too fond of steam tech, or just doesn't understand it.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
It's likely they're going to be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs. unmarked, but if the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
I don't think this window would serve as a viable means of entry.
It's a nice view, though. You can hardly see the vomit and manure piles on the street from up here.
So we need something to hot up.
It's a good view to be taking in, but we really should be getting a move on.
We'll see if she's got anything downstairs, because there's nothing up here, is there? Hotspot icons will change when new interactions are available. Okay. Right, so we can look at the hanging plants. Oh, we could get the hook, couldn't we? Excuse me.
Aha! This hook is exactly what I need. Mrs. Hanbrook, may I borrow this hook for a few minutes? It's crucial to our investigation.
Is that so?
Yes, I promise I'll put it back as soon as I'm done.
Please do, Detective.
Let's head back up and see if we can open this window.
Good. Bill, it's time for our experiment.
And what is this experiment going to be exactly?
Simple. I'm going to see if this hook can get me inside the shop.
You don't really have to pick anything to use. It chooses
Rather dark out here.
Watch your step, then. This experiment of yours isn't worth a broken neck.
I'll be fine. Now then, could you please close and lock the window, Bill?
Oh, we got to do this. Click. Yeah. Unusual. An adventure
Well,
game.
I'd say this is fairly incontrovertible proof that the building can easily be broken into without arousing suspicion.
Where'd you learn how to do that, anyway?
You taught me, remember?
Nah. Are you sure it was me?
Positive. We were a few pints in at the Angel about 5 years ago, and you decided I should learn how to pick locks.
What else have I taught you how to do while drunk?
That would be telling.
Can I get into a menu? Oh, there, right. Save it. I was gonna... a little bit. Bump my back up to normal. Go talk to the lady again. Oh, here's Trevor.
Ah, Trevor.
Evening, Cecilia. I've got the order ready to bring in.
Trevor, these are Detectives Fordham and Leger. They say there's been a report about the burglaries, and they're here investigating.
I only did it because I think it's been going on too long. As much as you want to, we can't handle this ourselves.
We can discuss the matter later. In the meantime, the detective would like a word with you.
I'll be needing to bring in the flowers first, if that's all right. Otherwise, some hooligan's likely to run off with them.
My partner will keep an eye on your flowers. Bill, would you mind?
Ah, the glamour of police work.
Now, Mr. Hastings, if I could ask you a few questions?
Go on, then.
What can you tell me about the recent burglaries?
I wish Cecilia had contacted you lots sooner. She's a damn fine woman. But sometimes I think she'd rather jump in a rose bush than ask for help. Had to take matters into my own hands. This needs taken care of, and we can't do it on our own, as much as Cecilia would like to. Anyhow, alls I know is someone's been making off with some flowers and leaving money behind. No idea who it could be, how they're getting in, or why they even bother paying. In my day, if you robbed a place, You did it the right way. It's a sad state of affairs when even burglars don't do their jobs correctly.
Do you have much experience with burglary, Mr. Hastings?
Now, I never said that, Detective.
Well,
Have
it
you
sounded
noticed
like it.
anyone or anything suspicious around here recently?
Nothing but the usual roughnecks, ragamuffins, and drunkards. Like I said, it's a real mystery.
Could you walk me through the process of your deliveries?
Of course, there's no great science to it. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons, Cecilia gives me her list of flowers to pick up from the wholesalers. I head over to Gascone around sunset when they get their shipment, and I give them her order. They load up the crate, I pay for it, and then I lug it back here.
How long does that take?
Between moving the crate and getting it across the river on the ferry, a couple of hours. Usually the store's closed by then, so I use my key to get in and leave the crate inside for Cecilia to open in the morning. That's all there is to it. Told you it wasn't very complicated.
Do you ever leave the crate unattended during that time?
No, sir. Never more than a minute. I may be old, but I got good eyes. I'd see if there were anything amiss. Besides that, I check to make sure the crate is still sealed when I drop it off. I'm not about to let Cecilia down by being careless.
How long have you been working for Mrs. Hanbrook?
Been about 10 years now, I reckon. I used to help with deliveries now and then when it was her and David, her husband. But after he passed, she offered to make me her assistant. Unfortunate way to get it, but I needed the work. Used to be I had a job at one of the airship yards, but they let me go after I was injured by one of those newfangled steam machines. So the offer came at a good time. Besides that, Cecilia needed looking after,
Hey, Miss Bent.
even though she'd never admit it.
Morning to
If
you.
I'm being honest, we're both getting
I hope
a bit
you're doing
long in
fine.
the tooth. Not sure how much longer we'll be keeping this up, but as long as I'm upright and breathing, I'll be bringing these crates along. Even if it is murder on my back.
I admire your work ethic.
I've got a job to do. Not enough people these days seem to respect that.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Hastings. I'll let you get back to work.
Appreciate it, Detective. If you don't mind, Detective, I still need to check the crate before I bring it in.
Of course. Thank you again for your help.
I thought the copper was going to take
Learn
the crates,
anything?
or was he just? Oh, he was
Possibly.
just watching.
I may have an idea.
Ah, you're being cryptic. That's always a good sign. But if you've got a plan, let's talk about it.
Oh, that's not good. I wondered why I hadn't seen you streaming. At least you're better now. Yeah, this pneumonia is not good. I had that. Must be.
Lost in thought.
10
of it,
years
eh,
ago now.
Fordham?
And my son's had it as well. He was hospitalised for a little while with it. Right, maybe talk to Mrs. Hanbrook again.
I have a few more questions for you, Mrs. Hanbrook.
Very well, Detective. If it will help you conclude your investigation faster.
Oh, that's not too long then. Were you in hospital with it, or just on antibiotics, or?
Mrs. Hanbrook, were you aware that there's a gap in the frame of the small upstairs window?
Is there? I only go up there to check that the window is locked. I've never noticed a gap.
You would have felt the
Are you
the draft.
suggesting that's how the burglar is entering the store?
Precisely. I believe the burglar is passing a tool through the gap and using it to unlock the window.
Oh my.
But now that we know the method, we're one step closer to catching him.
And how do you propose to do that?
I'll inform you as soon as I know. I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
This is Lamplight City. Adventure game. But given it by application systems, they've given me a few adventure games to play. Bit like a detective adventure. It came out in 2018.
Has the smell of flowers put you in a trance or something?
It's a No one there. Lamplight City. Right, we need to ask Bill about surveillance. Right, so this is Bill. So I talk to Bill Leger.
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Talk about Trevor.
Any thoughts on Mrs. Hanbrook's assistant, Trevor?
Yes, I feel sorry for him.
Why? He seems to enjoy his work.
Nah, it's not that. He's obviously smitten with Mrs. Hanbrook, but she won't give him the time of day.
What? You only saw him for a few moments. How in the ether did you get that impression?
Been playing
Well, you looked at
Valheim
her, the
quite a
way he
bit
spoke when
lately.
He confessed to contacting the police.
I really enjoy.
Shall I go on?
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
I see what you
Broken
mean.
Sword.
Really, Miles? You'd be surprised what you can learn from people if you just look at them.
Why bother doing that
I've
when I've got you to do it for me?
I've got all the Broken Sword games. They're on my list to play on here. I did play the first one a long time ago. I'm gonna play them all again. Yeah, the stories were good and the graphics were always good, weren't they, in the Broken Sword?
Right. Based on what we've been told in our experiment, I can only conclude that our burglar is using the upstairs window to get into the shop.
So, what do you propose we do about it?
It's happened repeatedly over the past 3 weeks, on one of the delivery nights. Since it has yet to occur this week, and today is Friday, logic dictates it should be tonight.
So we settle in and wait to see if the burglar returns? Catch him in the act?
Exactly. It's our best chance of solving this before the trail goes cold.
And I was really looking forward to getting that drink at the Angel tonight, too.
I know, but it's as you said yourself. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Besides, forbearance is good for the soul.
Spoken like someone who truly has no idea how to have any fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
sure
playing
I'll
the
get hang of
Broken
it one of
Sword.
these
So.
days, especially with your expert tutelage.
Okay, let's go have a chat with Mrs.
I
Hanbrook.
think there was like 5 of
I'm
them.
sure she'll be delighted to
Pretty
know
sure
we're
I've got them
spending
all.
the night.
I also want to play the Siberia
Damn, I forgot to bring my deck of cards again.
series.
At least it's quiet up here. I'm surprised we didn't go deaf after the last time we did this.
What?
I said... Oh, right. Your sense of humor remains on point.
Miles, have you ever considered leaving all this behind?
What, you mean quitting the force?
The force, the city, going off and seeing what else is out there, you know?
I'd miss it too much. Wouldn't you?
I was thinking I might visit Harley out west. She makes it sound like a dream in her letters. Wide open spaces, fresh air. I know I'm a city boy and would probably miss New Britannia's filth and squalor after a week, but...
You should do it. A change of scenery never hurt anyone. Plus, it's much easier for you than it is for me. I've got a family to consider, after all.
Ah,
My son and his
Right.
pal set up their own
Oh,
private
no,
server for
I didn't mean
Valheim,
it
so I've
like
been
that,
playing
Bill.
on it.
It's just... Shh.
I think I heard something. Oh, no!
Bill? Stop! Police!
Damn it! He's gone up the fire escape. We can corner him on the roof. Stay close and keep me covered.
Oh, somebody's dropped their hat.
Bill!
Stay back, officer. I've got a knife. Ready your pistol, Fordham.
But you're too close!
I trust you, Miles. Your pistol, now! There's really no need for this, officer. I respect your desire to uphold justice. Mine is more important. If you let me go, I won't come back. And we can all forget this ever happened. Don't listen to this lunatic, Miles. Take your shot before things get worse.
Yeah, I don't know if I've played all the way through the first Monkey Island. I've got that lined up for playing as well. Got masses of adventure games to play, so I shall be playing them at some point. I think I've got Full Throttle as well. I haven't played. Let's take a shot.
No!
Oh no, Bill fell down and died.
Bill! Oh, God! I am so sorry, my friend. I am so sorry.
Oh no, game over. Get to go back. 3 months later. Okay, so you could do that, that's okay.
Rough night?
Overdid it on the soporific. Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
Are you going to be starting streaming again after you've finished your antibiotics and that?
It's no personal slight. I just need some quiet time, or I'll go insane.
I get it. We all need our space. I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
I'm gonna move camera to the other side. Options are coming up here.
If you're just as miserable, why don't you just go away and leave me in peace?
Believe me, I wish I knew how. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
Right. For the 1000th time, you want me to find the burglar from the flower shop.
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I can understand your confusion, considering it was you who killed me. But the point remains. You wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
This thing is twirling round.
A decent night's sleep?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's gonna start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe, she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
Right, let's have a look about what we got here. Oh, a
It's a
gyroscope.
fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporifics doing. Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then. I'm certain a permanent indentation in the shape of your rear is starting to form on that thing. Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind.
It's not going to change. Well, there's
You should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Heh. Fair point. Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore.
Why?
Adelaide's last performance. She could really bring the house down.
Bed.
Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
It would be nice if you didn't spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music. I always like that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room. Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers.
There can be anything this room
Do you
can
suppose she
take.
does more of it now that she's retired? Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day,
Was that
you're
the
really going to have
soporific?
problems. It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you. Ha, that poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
Okay, everything there. Must be Abby.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Very much so.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
I always
Right.
like that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city. It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles. If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book. You remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes. I
Set
can see why Adelaide calls that
steampunky
plant
type era.
Miles Jr. It's a spitting image. Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working. Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move.
There's not that many.
That makes me wonder what old Mrs. Handbrook is up to these days.
We used to build and sell houses, but we moved into them for a little while after they were built. Most of my books used to stay in boxes. To make it...
Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life. Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard. Building those model ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one. I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon. Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days.
I mean, I could just go and read the newspaper, but... We'll have a look
Bollingworth
around.
Ale. My favorite! And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday. It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
There's no chair. Everything apart from what's on the table. Let's have a read of the message. Oh. Fordham, a big case has come in which I think will interest you. Meet me at the Raven Coffee House for more details. See Upton.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the Ruin Coffee House. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
Why is it difficult to get into that coffee house? $18.44. Price 1 copper. Remembering the HMS Lydia. Gascoigne Grand Dame dies. Aether City. It's real and it's coming, says science. Substance you said to possess both energetic and restorative properties was first put forth to you. Reduce the effects of aging and heal the sick. Second bizarre murder baffles police. New Batang police are investigating a murder in this town, similar to one which occurred in that borough just last month. The details are confidential at this time. We are able to confirm that both victims have been male and died from gunshot wounds. Police declined to reveal any further details and denied rumours that the murders are being committed by a serial killer. Oh, Reginald Snelling. We have our finest detectives on the case and hope to find whoever perpetrated these awful. How do I get out of here? There. Guess we're going.
Time for me to get some things done.
Goodbye, dear. Love you.
Love you too.
Right, so we are here. We need to go to the Rouen coffee house.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
I'm just going to get some more coffee before I start chatting to these people, so I shall be right back. Okay, I can't go without any coffee. Right, let's get back into the game. Go. There's Constance, that's who we have to talk to.
What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way.
That's the voice of this pal that died.
Not much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they? Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor, or your money back. For use by men only.
Men only?
These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently. Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles? Simon Banks. Professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean.
Coffee
All
machine.
that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee?
See, I didn't have to go and get a coffee. There was a coffee machine here already.
Seems like they have a little something for everyone in here. The Specialty House Brews. These are definitely not coffee. Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day. A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add. If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea.
Go talk to Constance.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Hello, Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
I got your message. What's going on?
It's time for you to join the big boys again, Fordham. Your days of finding lost cats are over.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupray?
That name was in the newspaper.
Laura Duprey. She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
That's right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sordid details.
Madame Dupray died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupray's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupray.
Black
Police
magic.
feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
Has Madame Dupray recovered from her ordeal?
I'm afraid not. Apparently she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupray home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
Well, we may as well
Yes,
ask while we're
actually,
here.
I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
No, probably not. Well, with Bill's death, we don't need to review the case.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Talk to anybody else here, you think?
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
Hey? Oh wait, so that was, sorry, I thought that was him talking. Wasn't it?
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies.
Bill. Talking
Just
in
one
my
of many
head.
patrons contributing to the oppressive thug in here. Judging by the sooty apron, this man is either a metal worker, a chimney sweep, or just really lazy when it comes to washing. He and his friend are having quite the conversation. I bet it's really boring. He's missing his left arm below the elbow. How do you suppose that happened?
Up to you, servant girl.
She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply. Best avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment.
He looks like
Reminds
something
me
out
of when I was
Victorian
alive.
age.
Ah, good times.
Yeah, it's got a nice storyline, isn't it? And the voice acting's really well acted. So we can go to Bow Street Jail or... I think we'll go here first.
Ah, Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
There's no, if you do find objects in that, it uses them automatically on things, so rather than having to try each thing one after the other, if you're not sure what item to use.
I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs. One of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Not now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Spoil sport. Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Oh.
Bon Bon's restaurant. I never got a chance to go there, but I hear their deviled eggs are simply to die for.
Let's head in.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
Good day to you, sir.
I thought we could have gone in there. I wonder if we find anything at Duprey Manor to help us to get in there. Or else we'll have to go and talk to him in the jail.
You are aware this is private property, sir?
Yes, I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the incident involving Madame Dupray. I assume this is she?
You assume correctly, Mr. Fordham. My apologies, but I thought the police had already made an arrest.
That's right, but there's still some doubt as to the man's guilt. May I ask your name, sir?
I am Dr. Fellows, Madame Dupray's private physician. I'm afraid she is in no state to be answering questions at present.
Are any other members of the family home?
Her son, Mr. Montgomery, is in the entrance hall. I had to give him a mild sedative to settle his nerves, but he should be all right to converse.
Then if you don't mind, I'll have a look around.
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working, but right now it's just a breeding ground for mosquitoes. With her vast sums of wealth, Madame Dupray could probably feed a starving family for the next 30 years. Instead, she uses the money to keep her hedges trimmed.
I wonder if we can talk to Fellows.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
I like the artwork on the faces here.
Tell me about Madame Dupray.
She is a great woman and a pillar of the community. I cannot imagine why something like this could happen to her, or how someone could be capable of such a barbaric feat. Though this ordeal has been terrible, I am confident she will overcome. The power of her physical constitution is surpassed only by her strength of character.
You think he'd say the same things if he wasn't on her payroll? I highly doubt it.
What were the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupray's supposed death?
Her son, Andrew, sent for me a few days ago after finding her unconscious and unresponsive. As I was unable to detect a pulse or breath, I had no other recourse but to declare her deceased. I judged that Madame Dupray had likely suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. It was most shocking to be proven wrong at a funeral.
I can imagine. Where was the funeral held, by the way?
St. Denis Cemetery. Madame Dupray wished to be interred in the tomb of her father's family, name of Chesterton.
Perhaps I'll go have a look.
New objective added.
Did you examine Madame Dupray after she reanimated?
Of course. Physically, she appeared to be in fine health aside from minor dehydration. I found no marks or bruising on her body. Mentally is a different story, however. She's remained in an unresponsive state ever since.
Do you have any opinions on what caused Madame Dupray to appear dead?
The most likely cause I can imagine is some sort of poison or toxin.
What leads you to believe Madame Dupray was poisoned?
The symptoms she experienced were consistent with prior cases of poisoning I've studied. And didn't the young man arrested have ties to some kind of black magic cult?
Yeah, well,
There
that's
have been
different.
reported cases of these practitioners using poisons to make people appear dead, then commanding them to do their bidding. I recall reading about a man in the West Indies who was given tetrodotoxin, that's the toxic secretion from a pufferfish, declared dead and buried. He appeared alive in his village some 20 years later.
Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched to you, Doctor?
Facts are facts, Mr. Fordham. Surely someone in your line of work can appreciate that.
New clue. Oh, why Streamlabs has got a stream avatar? Doesn't normally happen today. Okay, on Wednesday.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
So I guess we can't
Her
talk
eyes
to
are
her.
glazed over, and she's got a vacant